this time we saw a different gynae, and then the gynae was like, oh, I need to go and do a pregnancy test. My mom was so upset. Hey guys, it's me. Yeah, I know. I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, and I just kept, postponing it. I just kept postponing it. Every time I felt the urge to make this video, I just talk myself out of it. And when I made the decision to come back online, I thought that just going straight to making a hair tutorial and just acting like everything is business as usual would be a really rude way to reintroduce myself. So I decided to, bring you guys up to speed on everything that's currently happening, that has happened, and, a couple of things that are still at stake. I know that you know that I know that we all know that I'm a very private person. Even though I have an online presence, I prefer to keep my private life private. First things first, how have you guys been? How are you? How is your work? How are your loved ones? How's your family? How are your children? If you have any of those, just, catch me up. In recent times, something that I've really learned is that when there are people who love you, hopefully, believe in you, or even listen to you, or watch your videos, it's really unfair to hide from them. It's not the easiest thing, putting your entire privacy out there, but there are moments that call for such. And I feel like the last couple of years require that I do so. First thing I want to talk about is my career transition. I switched careers when I was almost 30, like I was pushing 30. And I thought the wisest thing to do was to make a huge career transition. I completely switch industries, My background is in engineering, if you didn't already know, and so I made a transition to film, guys. Anyway, so far, that's going well. And the transition was really smooth. That was around the time when I became inactive on Instagram because I had started to use Twitter more because a lot of the people that I wanted to build connections with were on Twitter. And that also brings me to, the conclusion that there are times when you would want to pursue a certain thing, and while you're at it, it might feel like you're not getting the results that other people are getting, and you might start to doubt yourself, question yourself. The truth is, sometimes there are other areas of your life that those proceeds will show up. Maybe not in the way you had hoped or the way you expect. So when I talked about doing things and not getting the same results that other people are getting, I was referring to my YouTube channel, right? So I've had my YouTube channel for years. I started it in 2015, I believe, or 2017, I'm not sure. But even within the first 2 or even 3 years, I wasn't doing a lot on it. It was just, it was existing, but it wasn't active. But at some point, I started to actively put out videos. And even till now that I'm making this video, my channel is not monetized yet because for some reason, I haven't been able to hit the YouTube views mark and all of that. However, it's been a blessing in so many other ways, right? So for example, when I made the career transition to film, it was really my YouTube videos that I submitted when I put in my application and I put together like a demo reel. So that was when I went to Ebony Life, right? And so I got into Ebony Life and came out in flying colors, if I do say so myself. And then, afterwards, I got my very first job in the industry. By the time I was applying to the US, guys, you will not believe that I still included parts of my YouTube video in my portfolio, even though I had now done, a couple of, proper film projects by that time. But I'm saying all of this to say that sometimes the kind of blessings you're looking for or your idea of success might not really be what God has in store for you. So just keep an open mind and you'd see that everything eventually works out. Yeah? Okay. Now I'm starting to sound like a preacher. I don't think I want to go into so much detail about that unless you guys want me to make a detailed video on how I, made the decision, navigated the industry, and got to wherever it is I am today. Anyway, yeah, so I did that, and shortly after that, I got a fully funded scholarship to move to the US. So I moved, guys. It's been a lot. The last 1 year of my life has honestly felt like a decade because it's so much happening. It's so much to manage mentally, emotionally when you're far away from family and your really close friends. It just gets very tiring. But I have God. And so I'm pushing through. Now, the most sensitive aspect of this video is that I want to share a health challenge that I've struggled with for virtually all my life, right? So I got my first period when I was 12, and the very next month, I didn't get my period. And so I was a bit alarmed, and I told my mom, like, oh, I missed my period. And I was like, it's probably because, it just started, so it hasn't regulated yet, because it does regulate over time, which is what we were told when we went to the hospital. And so we didn't think much of it. But then continuing to when I was 16, by this time I'd finished secondary school, I was getting ready to go to uni. It was still happening, right? And we went back to the clinic, and then this time we saw a different gynae. And then the gynae was like, oh, I need to go and do a pregnancy test. My mom was so upset. Oh my God. She was like, what do you mean? My mom she was like, I brought my child here and you're telling me, oh, no African parents. I know my child, I trust my why your voice so? She blatantly refuses to do the pregnancy test and then we leave. And so on our next appointment, my mom insists that we want to see a different gynae. And we go see a different gynae. And then they had told me to go do a pelvic scan. Guys, if I tell you the number of pelvic scans I've done in my life, every time I would do the pelvic scan, they would always say, we didn't find anything. There's nothing wrong with you. We think you should just wait it out. Okay. And then the one that annoyed me was one time when I saw a male gynae, and he immediately said, why are you looking for your period? Small girl like you, why are you looking for your period? Are you ready to have kids now? And I was like, wow. By the time I had gotten to 20 and I was in like my early 20s to mid 20s, I was still experiencing the same thing. And I'm like, how long is it supposed to take for this thing to regulate, Because it wasn't happening. I started to talk about it with, my really close friends. And it turned out that two of them had PCOS. And when they talked about their symptoms were pretty similar to the symptoms I was showing. And so I was like, maybe that's probably what's going on with me. And so I went back to the clinic. And this time, I not only had a pelvic scan done again, I also had a hormonal assay carried out. Now, when the hormonal assay result came out, they were like, you are fine, there's nothing wrong with you. And then I'm like, okay, this this is, I don't know what to think, but you know, in the middle of all of that, I was in a talking stage with someone, and I saw that this talking stage was progressing to much more than a talking stage. And so, in the spirit of transparency, I say to him, hey, so this is the situation. I've been experiencing this since I was 12, and so far, I don't know what it is. I suspect it's PCOS, but all my test results have come back negative, so I'm not sure what it is at this point, but I think you need to know. So it doesn't look like I deceived somebody, or you know how these kind of things happen. Anyways, I say all of that to him. Guys, guess what this young man said? Hey, God. He said, I know that a lot of times when girls have lived really rough lives in the past, these things start to happen to them, and then they don't exactly know what it is. So it's okay. I mean, even if you've had an abortion or series of it, because a lot of times that's where things like this emanate from. See, in all of my life, I don't think anything had shocked me more than the kind of shock I received that day, because I was like, from where to where? So very recently, I was diagnosed with an underactive thyroid. It's a condition called hypothyroidism, one in which your thyroid glands does not secrete enough thyroid hormones to support, the activities in your body that require those hormones. And so everything started to make sense, right? Because for the life of me, I didn't realize that my irregular periods, my scalp flakes, you guys know how I struggle with scalp flakes, all of that, and a couple other things like the constant fatigue, the unexplained weight gain. Because, like, I'll be, giving my everything to my workout, and then when I hop on the scale, I'm getting bigger. And even physically in the mirror, I'm getting bigger to the point where my clothes range between like 3 to 4 sizes, because my body is always fluctuating. It's literally like the weather. And the crazy thing is, this whole thing could have been diagnosed earlier, but I just happened to fall into the hands of medical practitioners who, I don't know whether to say they were nonchalant or they just didn't know what they were doing. So everything started to add up, and then I don't know, I'm not sure what word to use, but I just became really quiet, almost not wanting to participate in anything. I just wanted to be left alone, really. And so I watched myself gradually go from this bubbly, always cheerful person to someone who's almost always cold, just not expressing anything, just quiet, just silent, and just wanting to disappear at every given point in time. And so I decided to take some time for myself and just work out everything that I was feeling, and feel the things that, like, really feel whatever it was that I was feeling, until I felt like myself again. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm in a much better headspace, and yeah, I have God, and I have you guys, and I have my family. and I have my close friends. I have hope. That's a lot of things to have, I know. That's really all I wanted to say. I'll see you guys in my next video.